Yo, on this episode of Under the Influence Cocktails and Consciousness, the beautiful Ivory D and I will discuss the murders of young black men at the hands of armed police officers. Rest in peace, Alton Sterling and Philando Castile.
60,000 soldiers. Now, there ain't but 20,000 police in the whole town. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yo, welcome to Under the Influence Cocktails and Consciousness. This is a critical thinking platform where we talk about issues that are important to the black millennial and then some issues not so important. But as we know, sometimes these issues are tough. So, we handle them with a cocktail. This is your host, Coach Caleb Quran Free, and joining me is Ivory.
Hi.
There you go. So, man, we gonna jump right into it because we got some stuff going on. And we got something to talk about. I don't know what to label it. I don't know what to really label it. I guess it's not really police brutality though. But let me just tell you what happened, okay? In case y'all been, living under a rock or something like that. Well, starting off on the beginning of the week, actually the day after, which is the Tuesday, we had a...
Day after what?
After 4th of July.
How ironic.
How ironic, right? You know what I mean? Like...
Independence Day.
Right? But Alton Sterling, he was a Baton Rouge, Louisiana native. He was killed by multiple police officers, and this was done on the video. Again, we live in the age of social media now, so that's what's going down these days. And as if that wasn't the worst, yesterday, pretty late at night, I know a lot of you guys haven't caught it, or didn't catch it when it happened, but we have a young man. I don't know the young man's name, but he was gunned down in Minneapolis, I believe, a suburb in Minneapolis. He and his girlfriend were stopped, a routine traffic stop, busted taillight, and apparently he has a carry conceal license, or carry license, or whatever it is, that he had his gun on the side. But of course, he was sitting down in the car, but when they asked him for his license and everything, he told them, hey, you know what? I got a gun, but I got a license to carry it. He went for his gun. He went for his license because the police officer asked him to go to give him his information, of course. When he told him he had the gun, he told him to stop or something. And dude, in the middle of either putting his hands in the air or probably, we know he wasn't one for his gun, though. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. Shot 4 to 5 times, I believe, in the arm. That was the description that his girlfriend gave, and she was very calm. She was very, very eerily. That's what
She probably couldn't believe it still.
Yeah, it was very. This is the thing, man. Okay, so now that y'all know the details, both Alton and this person,
Philando Castile.
Philando Castile,
a 32-year-old St. Paul, Minnesota resident. He was the manager of a cafeteria at a local Montessori elementary school. So he had been for 15 years. So he'd been working with young people. So that alone kind of tells you he wasn't a threat to society. And then for Alton Sterling, he was a father of 5. He was a working man because he sold CDs and DVDs, and the store owner said that he had been doing it for years and they had a relationship and he never caused a problem, and he was a man who wasn't doing anything illegal. So these were 2 men who were citizens in society, and not a threat to anybody. Even if they were, they didn't deserve that. But it's important to note that they were people who had children and who were making a living for their families.
Definitely. Well, like Ivory said earlier, it was very interesting. It starts off after July 4th. We heard all those fireworks, and it was actually a very, I don't know, I guess it's fireworks every year, but there's actually a lot of fireworks going on. It really signified damn near like a war for real. But in all actuality, we are actually in a war right now. That's the crazy part about it. But with Alton Sterling, here we have another situation, a big black man. He reminds me a lot of the Eric Garner situation.
Yeah.
I don't know, because he's a big guy, dude selling, you know, he's selling things outside, and people like that, they have a motive. They're selling something outside so they get some money.
Right.
Usually those people aren't violent at all. And the store owner in the Alton Sterling case even said, he, like you said, he's always there, and he actually showed what the officers did, and it doesn't match up with what they said happened. They kept, they used one of the tactics that they always use. He's got a gun, he's got a gun. But they keep saying that a million times, but it's not true. But then they got the right to shoot you because then they can say that they were fearing for their life.
And not only did they didn't shoot him from a distance, they didn't shoot him from seeing him grab at his pockets. They got on top of this man. Two little bitty white men got on top of this man, tackled him to the ground, was sitting on his back, and shot him. So at this point, he wasn't even a threat to you all. He didn't even get a chance to attempt to grab for a gun because you two were on top of him. And if you did think that there was a harm in him grabbing for a gun, why not shoot his hand or his arm to keep him from reaching, like something that will de-escalate? Why would you attempt to kill? Why would you shoot him in the back and you're on top of him?
I think it's because we live in a system of racism and white supremacy. But,
Right.
That's the thing. That's why we can't call this police brutality anymore. These people are not police officers. And I hate that. I don't want to use the most, the phrase that everybody else is using. But I guess we got to start getting on the same code. I mean, this is really what they race soldiers. Neely Fuller called them that in the book, the compensatory code, a long time ago. And that's what he called them, race soldiers. Soldiers for a certain race. And the race being, of course, in this situation is white people.
That's history.
And
That's not even that goes back from overseers in slavery.
right.
Slavery ended, and you still needed people to control and maintain society. So this is not anything new.
Legal lynching. And those people actually back then were supposed to protect people who had money. Now if we got a person outside who's selling DVDs or whatever outside, obviously he's not trying to. Nobody's wealth or nobody's belongings, personal property is in danger. So that shouldn't be happening like that. Then we had the same thing with. What's his name in
Philando.
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 Yeah, same thing with him.
Castile.
Same thing with him. He doesn't. He's not a threat to personal property or anything like that either. So it's just one of those very interesting things. But this go ahead.
Well, I had a few things I was gonna say, but I think I was gonna say going back to the whole police part and in terms of it being race soldiers, it's a mentality thing. We're putting people in a position to serve and protect, but these very people have been conditioned growing up as white men in society to believe a certain thing about black people, particularly about black men. The media, music, all of these things that they internalize has created a mindset for them to view us as a threat, to view us as dangerous, to view us as subhuman. And so when they decide to join a police force, which on another note is also, you don't have to have and I don't believe that degrees make a person, but you don't have to have a certain level of education, which means that a lot of these police officers come from working class, low class environments, which adds to their thought process about people of color, particularly black people. So they decide they want to join in these police forces, and they go through 9 months of training. Somebody hands them a gun, and nobody has gone through any type of psychiatric assessment of them to see if they're really equipped to even engage with people, particularly people who are different from them, particularly people from communities of color. And so you put them out there they all willy-nilly, like that's very reckless, and that's the underlining problem to me.
Actually, if I understand it correctly, the young lady, because this is the time. I really believe that this is the time. I don't know what the hell this is the time for, really, but I believe we are in the time. I don't know. The Bible prophesies it as Armageddon or the last days and shit like that. I feel like we're in that right now. Like, I don't feel like the symbolic shit that it said in the Bible is gonna happen, but I feel like we have a lot of corrupt leaders. We have a lot of disasters. I mean, we have a lot of things like that going on. But a very interesting thing is that the shooter wasn't even white in the Castro case, the Castile case. He was Asian because his girlfriend, she was so eerily calm that I feel like that's why I say this is the right time, because not a lot of people would stay that calm in a situation like that. Her boyfriend is like literally next to her, multiple riddled with bullets and bleeding and help me, and she's standing calm. She's, oh my god, she's like very calm, because you could tell it's a shock, but it's like we need that, because in many other cases, she would have just got as erratic. Now, this is a whole time why the Asian cop, which is later identified, was pointing the gun at the guy. Still, after he shot him, he was still pointing the gun at him, and she's talking, and he's still losing his fucking mind. He's like, I told him not to leave. I told him not. It's like he's still going crazy, which makes me think about also Peter Liang, though, which is the cop in New York that shot, what was his name?
Right. That's what I was about to say. It's the second time there's been an Asian man.
We have to fucking starve them out. We have to, as a black community, white supremacy should be priority number one, but anybody who chooses to couple themselves with this group of people, we gotta fucking starve them out, especially if they in our community. I love Asian food just like the next man. I love this shit. I just had some fucking Singapore noodles the other day. But man, the Singapore noodle ain't good enough for you to be able to come in and feel like you could be you want to be a white supremacist too and kill us with impunity. That can't keep continuing to happen.
And these are people like,
fuck nails too. I just got a fucking manicure.
Right. These are people that, in terms of them being Asian, like their ethnicity is that of a person of color, but they still have been bred and born to like develop the mentality of a European person, of a white American person. That's how they have learned to succeed in this society. And so similarly, like they have learned to internalize a lot of the stereotypes of black people as well. So in that case, it makes them no different. It doesn't. Like, I don't believe that they should have any alliance to us because they are technically seen as people of color, because like their mentality says something different. So this man is the same way, and for him to react like, I couldn't watch the video because I'm tired of seeing videos. But for him to react that way was him reacting in shock, because when you do something unconscious based on your unconscious thought process, you do something and you come out of it and you can't believe you fucking did that shit, because you're really a sick person, and their evidence shows it, and now you just like, I can't believe that just happened.
And damn everything that they put in place to try to stop it, because they're not going to put in place something to stop something they don't want to stop. One of the things that got hyped when Trayvon and all that shit started happening, not Trayvon, because Trayvon was killed by a Hispanic white supremacist. That's what I'm saying. It's spreading everywhere, guys. We all alone. But back to what I was thinking, though. When a lot of these cop shootings started happening, they said, "Oh, we're gonna get body cams." These motherfuckers' body cams apparently fell off in the Sterling case.
Right.
They had body cams, but apparently they weren't able to. They weren't able to be used because them niggas could take it off, man. This is the system of white supremacy, and oh my god, man,
I know we're gonna have to do a part 2 to this, but I will say, in terms of like the girlfriend for the Philando Castile case being calm, like I think she was in shock, but I do appreciate that, because another thing that has bothered me in mainstream media is, and we're grieving as a people, we're grieving, and we all have different forms of grieving, but I don't like to see us be so vulnerable and openly publicly grieving to on mainstream media, i.e. the white masses, because I think that they feed off of that. I think that they get something off of that. I don't think that they empathize with us. I think that they're like, this is a great shot, zoom in on this black boy crying because he lost his daddy. And there's no empathy in that. There's no sympathy. They don't care. And so I wish that there was a way for us to maintain our bearings in front of white America, in front of the America who doesn't care, and for us to find a private space to be able to like grieve, because I don't want them to see us in such a vulnerable state, especially if they will never have a plan to like do anything different.
Yeah, that grieving, all that shit's a part of the system, white supremacy, and I think that's what our next show is going to be on. In a situation like this, what's a part of system white supremacy? And if you're smart enough, actually, before we even get to that show, you'll be able to figure it out. It's the same shit that happens every time. Those close-ups I just mentioned, that's a part of white supremacy. That's the system. That's the part of the system. The fucking the news coming out, it's part of the system. They're gonna roll out the motherfuckers who apologize. Oh, it's okay. We don't do that. We forgive this cop. We forgive these cops who did this. They're gonna roll out the fucking train of people. They're gonna roll out the motherfucking what's his name? Dude from CNN. Don Lemons. They're gonna run out the Don Lemons and shit like that. They gonna, if it's for protest, don't protest. That's a part of the system of white supremacy. That's how they know that this shit's working. When you start to protest, you do the same shit, they gonna do the same shit. We have to do our own thing. But again, that's something that we will cover in our next show, which will be very, very soon. Because
I do think that black people should grieve, because grieving is very important in terms of healing. Like,
grieve in silence.
You shouldn't internalize it, but you grieve privately.
Yes.
Like, in my
When's the last
opinion,
time you seen a white person grieving?
No, they do. But the thing is, like, they do it publicly, they do it in any space that they can, but the thing is that they have safe spaces to do that, where they will not be judged, or it would not be used against them, or they would not be manipulated. We cannot do that. We cannot do that and it not be seen as something that is strange or weird or like a newsreel. And so it's very different for us. And so I just want us to begin to like guard ourselves from people latching on to our grief being entertainment for them.
Don't get soft, and don't fucking forgive. You can forgive, but we forgive them while they're serving their whole sentence to think about what the fuck happened. I saw, like, recently, there was a young lady who, and the crazy part about it, she did the shit and she was fucking crying. You know what I mean? Basically, her and her boyfriend back in 2 years ago, they went into a video game player. He was a professional video gamer, and they went to go buy an Xbox from him, some shit like that, and they killed him instead of buying. They killed him and took it. And the family, he went to court. She was saying, "I'm so sorry," such and such. She's crying. She did the shit now. You know what I mean? She was wrong for it, but the family said, "No, fuck that. We hope that she gets better while she's serving her time." Yeah, I mean, we should let her off, and we forgive her for killing our son. No, but go serve your time, long as hell, in that motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we should have that same mindset. Because the next one is extreme. You know what I mean? And stop letting the left hand see what the right hand's doing, man. I'm gonna leave it with that.
We gotta touch on that in the next one.
Yeah, I'm leaving on that. All right, so
also we can leave on that, but there's like listening to you talk about like there's something different, and like in terms of like what we are gonna do as a people, and we can talk about this the next time. But like I really believe in like what David Banner has been like on record of saying in different like radio outlets and podcasts, when he was like, in terms of you saying stop protesting, but he says that like white people only respond to two things, and that's loss of money and violence. And if we don't get focused on one of the two things, then nothing else is going to matter, and that is the bottom line. Obviously, I mean, I'm not promoting violence, but I think that, like, when they are violent towards us and we protest, but then we go out and buy something that directly puts money in their pockets, it defeats the purpose. So we can touch on that at another time as well. But
choices.
think about that.
Choices. But until next time, a very short time soon, very, very soon. But until next time, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to share. A lot of people need to know what's going on, man. A lot of people need to know not only what's going on, because the media outlets don't cover that enough, but what the fuck should be the solution? Because we lost, man. But as you know, we've been through this before. When our pride was low, looking everywhere like, where do we go?
Right.
And we hate Pope. Want us killers dead in the streets for show.
Right.
Everything's gonna be alright though, man.
Yes, it's gonna be alright.
Later.
Bye.